So I am here with MMA Fighter Dave Finch. Dave, how's it going?
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
Good. Dave, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, how you doing, Dave?
Yeah, I'm great. Yeah, I'm a little bit achy from wrestling last night, but
Oh yeah. So how long was the session? Was it so obviously you've got around what is it, about a month now to go until just a little over a month to go. So how hard are the sessions right now? Are they still sort of the hardest they can be, and then you start winding down. What is it? 1 week, 2 weeks? So what's your process for this next month?
so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get all the volume in early. So the last 4 weeks I've been training pretty hard, and towards the last 3 weeks I try and taper it down. I just do some like really intense but low volume like weights, more plyometric based, and
Yeah.
then I sort of like tail down my training a little bit, so I'm a little bit fresher. So the
Yeah.
first 4 weeks I've been really exhausted, but it's getting a little bit less intense now on the volume side of things.
Okay, no problem. And then what? Is this your second bout?
Yeah, I've fought on the Fight UK MMA show in Leicester. Is it Leicester? Last year.
Yeah, one by armbar, was it?
Yeah. It was quite 2 minutes first round.
Oh well, congratulations. That's the best way to start your debut, isn't it? So
Yeah.
how long ago was that now? That was that around 6 months?
Last April, I
Last,
think.
okay, so it's about a year now. So what have you been doing in this year? Like, was there a reason you took sort of time off? Obviously, you're a busy guy. You're also a judge as well as a coach. Was it just timing? Was it injuries? Was it just you wanted a little break?
Well, I had this problem where I afterwards I trained so hard I made my endocrine system crash a little bit.
Oh wow.
I was booked in for a fight down in Bournemouth, but I couldn't do any wrestling without or grappling without passing out.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so I took a few weeks rest and then I'm actually a sports scientist, so I should really know better than to train too hard. But I'm terrible. I'm actually going into train in a minute. I'm going to train at 1 o'clock, 1:30 with a friend.
It's easier said than done, isn't it? Obviously, yeah, you know the science behind it, you know the metrics, but you're the one who's going in there and you're the one who's pushing. You don't want to be the guy who's not training as hard as their opponent, right?
Yeah. So I kind of get stuck into it, and I kind of forget about the rest side of things. But I know how important it is, and I forgot about it a little bit too much, and my endocrine system crashed, and it dropped all my cortisol out, so my blood pressure dropped too low.
Right.
So I couldn't. If I went from one, so say if I was on in guard and I rolled to mount,
Yeah.
I'd pass out.
Wow. That's geez. So how long did you have to take off for that? Like you just gave yourself, like I said, a few weeks off just
Yeah.
to reset.
Yeah, just a few weeks just for my body to sort of adjust, and I really toned down my training a lot. I still did like the technical side of training. I just kind of didn't do all of the more intense stuff I was doing, like going out on. I was doing like 6-8 mile runs and probably
Just
going.
really putting your body through the paces.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. So obviously, like I said, you're a sports scientist. Do you work with other fighters? Like, do you work with different sports athletes? Like, so what's your field of expertise, or is your field of interest really when in that job?
My main field of interest is biomechanics. I've actually just had a study published in the Journal of Sports Sciences.
Oh wow.
You know the Hyxo punch trackers?
Yeah.
I did a review of them, like testing them against Vicon. So that's my main area of interest. I've got to earn myself a little bit more money, and I'm going to do my PhD and hopefully go into like lecturing and teaching at university.
That's brilliant. Though, is that available online? That work.
I think it is, but I think you have to pay for the study.
Okay.
I don't know if they did the abstract first. I don't know if they've done the actual full study yet, but the abstract should be available on the study.
Oh well, yeah. If you were able to find that, we'll definitely add a link onto the video. That's amazing. And like I said, you're also a judge. How often are you judging at the minute?
So I did my course not long after I had the endocrine problem, and I did my first judging showdown in Brighton, the Apocalypse Fight Series.
Yeah.
That was awesome. That was a great show to go down and do. So I'm just looking to do some more now. I'm hoping to get some in after my fight. So I've not doing anything up until now because I'm focusing on the fight. But after that, hopefully I'll get a couple of judging opportunities in.
That's brilliant. With the judging, obviously, fighting that has a timeline, that has an expiry date. Could you see yourself judging, for the coming years? Could you see that being just always in your life?
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I just enjoy going to shows. So I go away and do a lot of filming for UK Fight Scene.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm away watching like BJJ comps and Thai shows and K1 and MMA pretty much most weekends now. So going away and judging just seems, you get to sit ringside, you get to watch your favourite sport.
Yeah.
I don't know why you wouldn't.
No, exactly. There's been an uproar about why retired fighters don't, get into judging as often. Maybe they don't want to be seen as, I think to some people, fighters and the judges are seen as somewhat the enemy to fighters. Obviously, if it doesn't go their way, they go against them. Maybe you build too many relationships within the sport to be, not to be biased against people that you know. Who knows? But, to someone who's got the experience, you train not only yourself, you train children. You've got a real insight into the sport. Say you work with UK Fight Scene, that really gives you an insight of what you actually see inside the cage. So, going on to your training now, give yourself a little plug. Where is it that you train?
So I train out of Exile MMA in Southampton. Do all of the Thai with the Look Bry guys down there. So we've got Mo Durman and Jordan Swinton. They're really, really high level strikers. So you get to work with them. And then you go over to the jiu-jitsu side. That's Trev Birmingham Academy. So you've got Trev and you've got all the high level guys there. They've got people going away competing all the time. So we're lucky in our gym. We've got decent wrestling coaches as well, which is a struggle with most gyms to have high level qualified wrestling coaches.
Mm-hmm.
But we've got Yanis, and then we've got Achilles, and then we get like a couple of other coaches who come in and occasionally help out. So that's great because we get all areas, and then we've got obviously Bryony, head of the fight team, and she's a professional. She's fought on BCMA before. She was a champion there. She's gone on to fight on like Cage Warriors and things like that. So she gives us all of her experience, and then guys like El Smith, who's down there training as well. He's a coach and he's fought on BCMA. So we know what the show's going to be like before we get there. So it's great for the guys that are going. It's me, Trav, and Vel, and we're getting the feedback from these guys before we even get there. So we're not going to be as sort of overawed by it because we know it's a big show, but we already know kind of what it's going to feel like from these experienced coaches.
Well, there you go. The brand of Cage Warriors itself, a huge brand in the European scene, probably the biggest in Europe right now. And you're fighting on the Cage Warriors Academy show. Do you have aspirations to go pro? Is this more just to keep you within the sport that you love? So what's sort of the plan over the next sort of 12, 24 months for you, Dave?
Well, my original plan was never to fight anyway.
Right.
I kind of just got into it. But my new plan is I want to get to a couple of amateur wins behind myself. And then I want to start looking towards maybe getting an amateur title when I see how old I am from there. Because I'm 30 now. So if it takes me like a few years, then maybe not. But maybe I will. I'll decide once I get to that point.
Well, no, that's completely fair enough. In terms of you fight at 155 pounds, weight cut wise, is that a massive factor? Do you walk around? What sort of weight do you usually walk around in?
Well, it depends on how much I control my love of brownies. But we show. I was 79 before I started this.
Yeah.
And I'm comfortably at about 76 now because I'm doing Kleos in 2 weeks, so I need to be 76 in the gi for that, and then I've got Southend Open. I'm going to be 73.5 for that. So I've never really had struggle with cutting down to 70. I could probably easily get to 65.
Yeah.
If I was a little bit more disciplined with my diet, but I'd choose 70 because then I can eat a little bit of food and be happy about it.
There you go. Well, we saw it come out today. An article. Diego Sanchez was saying, he started off at 185 on the Ultimate Fighter season 1, went down to 170 instantly, then 155, then he tried 145 going up. He said just the cut though, it's just too much. It's just you lose some power, you lose some speed. It's not always, he's trying to show it's not always about the major weight cuts that get you that advantage. It's about being as healthy as possible. And, you know, somebody working in your field, you could probably completely agree with that.
Well, yeah, definitely. The amount of you lose about 1 to 2% of your like VO2 max just from a kilo of like dehydration. So
right,
trying to drop sort of 5, 6, 7 kilos, you know,
it's a lot of power.
By the time you get down that point, you know, you're really, really, really screwing yourself over. Yeah, you may be able to rehydrate, but if you're not careful about how you rehydrate as well, especially at our level,
yeah,
if you've got the science behind you to help you with it, you probably aren't going to be at your optimum level anyway. So,
well, would you agree that 36 hours? Obviously, you weigh in. Well, obviously it varies on the promotion organisation. You know, what time is it? A 9 a.m. weigh-in? What time's your weigh? Is it 12 p.m. on Friday on the 12th?
I hope it's not 9 a.m. because we have to drive up from Southampton. I'm guessing it's around midday, but I haven't actually checked yet.
Oh, so just say for example it's midday, you know, and the fights start, you know, in the afternoon. Say that gives you on average maybe 30 hours, 30 to 35 hours of rehydration time. As a sports scientist, would you think that's enough? Obviously, it's proven to be enough for most of the fighters, but you know, what are your thoughts on that?
That's more than enough for me.
Yeah,
because I rarely cut more than like 1 kilo to 2 kilos of water anyway.
Yeah,
because I don't like it. I don't like being in the sauna. I don't like being in salt baths. I don't really like the feeling of it, and it, you know, it's a bit uncomfortable.
yeah.
You don't want to go through that when you're just about to fight the next day. So I try and keep that to a minimum, and then I'll probably be rehydrated within a couple of hours. You know,
No.
36 hours is more than long enough. If you're doing like 6, 7, 8 kilos, then maybe that's not long enough. But it depends on your body type as well. It depends on how well you follow your protocol, what sort of electrolytes you're getting in. I read an article somewhere where if you eat, if you leave your eating for an hour to 2 hours after you've started rehydrating, your food process is a bit better, so you'll be able to rehydrate faster.
Okay.
So maybe that's something that people could look at, but.
So I mean, you have that knowledge base, you really do. You know, you have that information, you have the science behind it. But there's some people out there, unfortunately, maybe their coaches aren't as skilled up. They're not as skilled up, so you know they just kill themselves to make the scale, and then you hear horror stories about weight cuts. So it's always a massive factor. So you know, to have the science behind it, and you know your field, it can definitely give you that. It's that boost confidence. People, especially the people around you. Obviously, if you've got teammates on the card as well, you'll be there to help them.
Yeah.
It is a psychological battle at the end as well as a physical one.
Yeah, well, we were up at the England trials a few weeks ago, and they were talking about having sports science as part of the guys that go towards the England team.
Yeah.
So it's really coming in this country. In the UK, we've always been slow to adopt strength and conditioning and sports science anyway. Even with football, even with the Premiership, we were probably one of the last countries to follow strength and conditioning and sports science procedures. America have been well ahead of us, and they don't even really follow like football or soccer over there.
Yeah.
No, they're years ahead of us. So we're kind of always playing catch up. But it'd be nice for actually to have sports science, psychology taken seriously within the sport.
100%. I still remember I was at college. I was studying sports injuries, and we had the guy come in. He worked closely with Brentford Football Club, and he said one of the top players. This was about 5-6 years ago now. He said one of the top players. His warm up would be walk out onto the pitch, do a couple of kick ups, boot the ball in the air. All right, I'm cool. I'm good to go. And what happens? You know, you start seeing his wear and tear. So I completely agree, mate. I think it's a big option. I think UK European MMA is just continuing to grow, so it needs to have sort of have the regulations. You know, we've not got an organisation, you know, athletic commission per se. So we need something to really put this in place. So I completely agree, Dave. Sort of going towards your fight now. So I understand you were going to fight Fell, but that fight fell through, correct?
Well, I don't know what happened there, but yeah, it never materialised. So we had a plan sorted out for Face and Fell, but we don't really have any videos on the new opponent, so just sort of building a more all round plan now. But the previous plan was pretty structured. We had like a way of dealing with what he brings. So we've now got to move on and try and find whatever little information we can. That's the problem with the amateur level, is some people haven't fought, or some people's fights haven't been broadcast. You just got to try and work it out as you go along.
Well, that's what I mean as well. It's same, you can do your internet search and stuff. Like I did some research. I had a chat with Jamie McBride, who's fighting on the card as well. He said, yeah, my Tapology record's wrong, my Sherdog's wrong. So, the information's not always there. Like, so your guy, your new chap, going from Norway, Andreas Gule or Jule, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, Gule. It's according to Tapology in the amateur game, he's 2-2. Win by decision and rear naked, and a loss by decision and a guillotine. But is that the facts? I don't know. I know his last fight was on a Cage Warriors Academy show where he did lose, I believe by decision or by submission. I cannot remember exactly. But like I said, with the amateur game, it's tough to get those details. But I think it's really important to shine some light on the amateurs, and I think that's what Cage Warriors are doing really well. I said to Jamie yesterday, on Cage Warriors 102 last weekend, like 7 of the guys who were on that card and girls were alumni of the Cage Warriors Academy.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's shown, in sport you need that sort of progress route from the bottom to the top, and now you've got that. It's sort of really helping out the sport.
Yeah.
A lot of them eventually go on to the UFC from Cage Warriors anyway, so that's kind of proving that route up. And to have, like, because I follow the Cage Warriors Wales page as well, and a couple of the other pages, to see that they're actually building this network up around the country of people to push through to the bigger stages is going to really help the sport. Something I'm really looking at for the kids and teens in my classes.
Yeah.
I think more about what they're going to do than what I'm going to do, because they're the future, and I can sort of push them forward. Because I started quite late in martial arts, really. I trained martial arts all my life, but I started in MMA when I was like 26. So just to start competing in MMA at 26 is probably a bit too late to be really successful. But for them, it's not too late, and these structures are going to really help them out.
Yeah, 100%. So you got the likes of Cage Warriors Academy, and you got Rise of Champions, which is Brad Pickett's promotion. They had a show last week as well, ROC 7. And you got these legends like Brad Pickett. You got these future stars like Nathaniel Wood. He's there. Obviously, he's Brad Pickett's guy, and you just see the excitement around it now. There's buzz for the amateur game in the UK and Europe, which I think that's where there was always that sort of scrutiny from the US. They believe that when Michael Bisping went on to the Ultimate Fighter, like the UK just wasn't known, and it's just exploded. But it's same as any sport. Grassroots is. You start there and you build your way up, and you have the opportunities, but it's about being opportunities there. Like I said, you got yourself, 30 years old, you're a sports scientist, you're working towards your PhD, you have all this stuff going on, you're a judge, you're a coach, but you're still in love with the sport. And what you said is you see the kids, like, I'm not sure what the age group is that you teach them. Are there people there you think, even from a young age that you train right now, they have potential to, if they start young and get the right opportunities, they could go pretty far?
Oh, there's a couple actually. There's a couple. We took a group of 6 kids down to a jiu-jitsu tournament down in Bournemouth, to Sousa Dojo, and they all came away with medals. We took 3 gold, 4 silver, and 3 bronze. So
it's phenomenal.
That's pretty good. Those guys that went away there, they come in pretty much every day.
Yeah.
I think Friday is the only one off. One of them is my daughter. She doesn't ever get much of a chance off because she's always in with me. So she's always around it. But they absorb it so fast. Like I was teaching 2 of the younger kids, because I get a couple of I teach kids MMA, which is 6, 7-ish to 12.
Yeah.
And I teach a teen MMA, which is 12 to 16.
Okay.
And a tiny Thai class as well, which is sort of 5 to 12. So, but I've got some of the kids that are in those younger age groups coming up to the teens class, so they can come and get a bit more training in with some of the more experienced kids.
Yeah, brilliant.
And they pick it up so fast. Like you teach them something, and you don't really have to go over it more than once. They'll just get it and they'll go with it.
Well, that's phenomenal. Yeah, that's brilliant. How's your daughter?
She's 11.
Is it something that she maybe want to do in the future? Or is she still undecided, or?
She's done a couple of tie-in clubs before, but she doesn't really enjoy them that much.
Right.
She likes the training side of things, but she enjoys the jiu-jitsu side much more than anything else.
Okay, brilliant.
And she does like going away to the competitions.
Yeah.
So we're going to try and get her a few more in over the next year. Hopefully do Bournemouth, Dorset and Hants because they're close.
Yeah.
I don't really want to have to take her too far for competitions and things like that. She just wants to do the little local ones around.
Well, that's the beauty as well now, obviously, with like the likes of the jiu-jitsu tournament, like kids, it doesn't have to be either you fight or you don't. You've got the likes of jiu-jitsu where it's just a lot more, it can be enjoyable. Obviously, it's competitive. Of course, if you want to be a winner, like you said, your daughter, she enjoys the training aspect. And as the sport grows, you'll be able to do that. Whereas at one point, if you want to train MMA, you'd be thrown in there with killers. That's the only gyms that are available, were gyms with true MMA fights. So you couldn't just do it for the fitness side of it.
Yeah.
But that's brilliant, though. That is phenomenal. So obviously you started training at 1 o'clock, so I'm going to let you go to go get ready for that. But I'll be there on the 13th. It'd be good to have a catch up with you. Any predictions on the fight, or are you just gonna go with the flow and see what happens?
It's always bad to make a prediction because it could go wrong, but I'm hoping for another submission finish.
Yeah.
That's what I'll be going for. I'll be pushing hard. I'm going to go out like I did last time, try and set the pace. I think my last guy was quite a good fighter, but I just set a pace that was so fast, got him to the ground straight away, and that's what I plan to do, and then go from there. I've got quite horrible top pressure for my level of competition, so we'll see if we can deal with that, and then go from there.
Well, mate, that's it. That is it. So, Dave, best of luck. Hopefully we can have a chat after the bout and we can discuss it.
Yeah. Hopefully it goes as I say, but we'll see.
There's that confidence there, Dave. But Dave, thanks a lot. Enjoy training, and we will see you on the 13th.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.
Thanks, bye.